Today in Global Garden in Roblox, I have a brand new way to do the trading tier list because I have read your criticisms and I have read your feedbacks in the comments of the list I made yesterday. It wasn't clear enough. It wasn't concise enough. It was too confusing. Why were pets in certain spots? How much is this pet worth compared to that pet? If I use these 4 pets together, could I get that pet? You know what? I have figured it out. I have a new way to do the trade list to make it clear for everybody. And if your pet is not on this trade list, it is a bulk pet. Ready for this? Let me unveil the new system. The new system is called the rack system, or the raccoon system. The raccoon is the single most important trading chip in the game of Grow a Garden. It is the unofficial currency of pet trading. As such, all of these pets will be separated into the following categories. You have raccoon plus plus plus. If it is worth more than a raccoon, I will explain it in its section. The self-explanatory raccoon section. If it's worth a raccoon, I'll let you know. Then you've got half rack. You need 2 of these to be the same value as a raccoon. Then we jump all the way to a 5th rack. Why no 3rd rack? Why no quarter rack? Because there's no pets in the game currently worth a 1/3 or a quarter of a raccoon. It's unfortunate. So the next category is a 5th rack. Then you have the 8th rack. Then you have the 10th rack. And finally, the pubs category, where the pet is a divine pet and is basically worthless to an experienced trader, but you can bring it into a public game and kids will freak out. I have also split the huge category into 3 categories: common huges, rare huges, and then your meta huge. So obviously to start, the raccoon is obviously worth a raccoon. He sits right there. And the first one we're going to add is the Spinosaurus, who is here in the 5th rack category. There was a time where you could get a raccoon for like 2 or 3 Spinosauruses, but right now you need upwards of 5 Spinosaurus to get a raccoon. Now, is someone owning a raccoon going to give you a raccoon because you walk up to him with 5 Spinosauruses? No, but how you're going to use this list when you are trading is you can figure out what pets are worth versus the other based off of what they're worth to the raccoon. Let's say you're trying to acquire a raccoon and you offer something like something worth a half raccoon and something worth a 5th and something worth an 8th. You start to get a feel for how much you need to give the guy to hopefully acquire the raccoon. If he's asking for more than what you think is fair, you know it's not fair, and you can help make those decisions from there. Then we have the old red fox, and the red fox is a pub stomper. That's all it is. It is worthless. People who do trades, like they love to do trades and they're in the trading discords, they don't want a red fox. It's worthless. But people in pubs, they love the red fox. It's cute. It's a divine pet. It has some value if you jump into a public server. Now, remember how I do these values is I go onto the internet, I grab multiple websites, I take all the values for all the pets, average them out, and then rate them against the raccoon. So you're probably going to find different values for things based off of what website you're looking at and based off of what you find in trades in Discord servers or in public servers. Having said that, if you find a trade where you trade, I don't know, 2 5th rack pets for a rack and you win, well, you won the trade. Congratulations. That doesn't mean that those 2 5th rack pets were worth a ton. It just means you ripped somebody off, and that's fine. Now, the pack B has a little bit of trade value. It is down here in the 10th rack territory. Are you going to be able to trade somebody 10 different 10 rack pets to get a rack? Probably not. But maybe you can use these as things to add to help bust you over and get you that raccoon in a trade. After that, you have the bald eagle, and the bald eagle, I believe, is also down here in the 10th rack category. Bald eagles are really good. I think I might need to go out and acquire some for hatching eggs. Somebody told me they had a Titan peacock, and the Titan peacock was spamming these guys like really fast every minute or so and making them like use their abilities every minute. It was crazy. I gotta look into that. Then we have the Kitsune, who is nothing more than a pub stomper. To all the experienced traders, he's common as dirt and practically worthless. If you want to know his value, he's 1/20th of a raccoon for context. Literally 1/20th. You need 20 of them for equal value. No one would ever make that trade though. The raccoon player would never make that trade. However, you can take the Kitsune into a public game, hold it up, and offer to somebody, and someone might offer you something like a dragonfly or a queen bee or something of value. So if you have a Kitsune, go into pub servers, get things of value if your goal is to acquire things like amazing huge pets or raccoons or butterflies or whatever. Now, the ascended pet used to be raccoon plus, then it used to be in the raccoon tier. Now the ascended pet is down in the half rack tier. Now, as a raccoon owner, I don't need ascended pets. I have my 1 ascended pet. I don't need ascended pets. So if you were to approach me with 2 ascended pets and be like, I've got these 2 ascended pets, Crow says they're worth half a rack, give me your rack, the raccoon player might laugh at you. However, you might be able to acquire an ascended pet as a move up piece. But remember, ascended pets are hard to trade. they require one specific kind of buyer. And that buyer has a huge fruit that he wants to put the Dawnbound mutation on. And once he puts the Dawnbound mutation on that huge fruit, he's probably going to trade away the Ascended Pet. So Ascended Pets do have value, but you need to find that one buyer. And you can go a long time before you find that buyer. So if you're thinking about acquiring Ascended Pet as a move up in value to get you towards a raccoon, it might not be very liquid and hard for you to trade. The hamster is a 10th rack pet. It has some trade value because it is kind of rare, but it's not a really good effect. Some people want to experiment with 8 hamsters to speed up crafting. I don't know. I don't find it very useful. It's a 10th rack right now. Oh, and by the way, if you haven't subscribed, I totally forgot about that. Guys, hit the subscribe button. Become part of the first 200 OK OGs on the channel. I almost said 200 OKGs. I'm really bad at English. Let's continue. I'm having a bad day. Then we have the butterfly, who is here in the half rack category. Now, it's not quite half rack. It's a little less than half rack. Let's say you've got a butterfly and an Ascended Pet, and the raccoon player's like, I want you to add something. Add something. That still doesn't quite reach the raccoon because, you know, math isn't exact, right? But the butterfly is still very, very valuable. 2 butterflies for a raccoon used to be a really easy trade. Now 2 butterflies for a raccoon is a bit of a difficult trade. If you've got 2 butterflies, you might want to add something from the 10th rack or the 8th rack category to get up there to make sure you can get that raccoon. Then we have a T-Rex, and he just keeps dropping and dropping. He's in the 8th rack category. It really makes me unhappy. It makes it unfortunate. I love the T-Rex. I have a huge Ascended one. He's my favorite, one of my favorites. But the regular T-Rex is losing its value. Having said that, he's only losing value compared to the rack. If you notice, these are the top like 15 pets in the entire game. There's like 130 pets in the game now, and the T-Rex is still, hold on, let me count. The T-Rex is literally the 10th most valuable pet. It's top 10 out of 130. But looking at this chart, you probably think he's horrible. No. These are only just the best pets. We always talk about the best pets in the game. Everything not on this list is a bulk pet and is like 1/20th the value of a raccoon for context. The lobster is pub bait. It's one of those new divine pets, one of those new rare pets. You hold that up, you walk into a public server. If you can go and grab a T-Rex for a lobster, if you can grab a Spino for a lobster, congratulations, you're just winning. I've had people comment and go, Kro, there's no way the lobster is so bad. I got such and such for my lobster. Sure, that means you just beat the value. That means you just won the trade drastically. It is valued horrendously. It's less than 1/10 of a raccoon. It's closer to 1/15th of a raccoon for context. Like, it's just not that valuable. You get something for it in a public server, though, that's a win. The chicken zombie is down in the 1/8 rack category. It is roughly equal to a T-Rex in value. Why? I don't understand. I think the T-Rex is infinitely more valuable, infinitely more interesting, and infinitely more useful, but that's what the market says. I'm just reporting the market to you. The blood hedgehog is down in the bottom or towards the bottom of the 10th rack category, only because people want 8 of them to do blood hedgehog methods. As such, could you take 8 of these and get a rack? No. However, could you take 8 of these? Maybe add a Spinosaurus and get a rack? Maybe. If the rack owner wants to do the blood hedgehog method, he might ask you and be like, yo, I'll take your 8 blood hedgehogs, but toss in like a T-Rex or Spinosaurus and you have a deal. And then you have a fairly fair trade at that point. But then you really need to find that raccoon owner who really wants to do the blood hedgehog method and is too lazy to go and get blood hedgehogs himself and just wants somebody to give him all 8. Like, that's a very niche trade, right? That's a hard trade to make. Then we have the queen bee, and she's down here in the 10th rack category. She's fallen so far. It hurts my heart. I love the queen bee, but she's down here in the 10th rack category. Definitely still a top 15 pet out of the 130-ish pets in the game, top 15, but she's worth like 10th rack. The butterfly is at the top of 8th rack category. I pretty much made the 8th rack category for the dragonfly because I calculated how many dragonflies I needed to acquire a raccoon based off of all the websites. So the 8th rack category was born because of that. I wish it worked out to like half rack, quarter rack, 8th rack for easy math, but the math doesn't work that way. Dragonflies are still valuable. They're still like a top 10 pet in the game, and they're still great trading bait. People love to trade dragonflies. They're really easy to move. The panda is up in the 5th rack category strictly because of rarity and not because of use. The panda's pretty much useless. It is useless. It's just there to be like, oh, look, I have one of the rarest pets in the game. Look at me. That's literally all the value it has. The Spriggan is down here in the 8th rack category. It was actually higher than this in my list yesterday that people got horrendously mad at, but now it's dropped even further in more than 24 hours, only 24 hours. So the Spriggan is an 8th rack and probably going to continue to drop from there. Now, coming up, we have one of the hardest categories to categorize because there are more than 100 huge pets in the game and therefore more than 100 titanic pets in the game as well. There's a ton of them. And because there's a ton of them, I don't know 95% of their values. So what I can tell you is a bit of a guide to help you make those decisions. Ultimately, if you have a huge pet and you want to trade it, go to a trading Discord server, type offering blah, blah. I have a blah, 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 looking for offers, and then let's see what people send you. And if people send you an offer you like, just take it. Use your own research, use your own brain. We've got 3 categories here. The common huge pet is in the half rack category, potentially more like a third rack, depending, like if you have a golden lab huge, it's like a third rack, okay? But most of these common huges end up in the half rack territory. We're talking, I actually wrote down some examples. We're talking the huge bunny, the huge mouse, the huge dog, the huge tanuki, the huge flamingo, just these huge pets that are really common and don't have a great effect. They're in the half rack category. So you need a couple of those. If someone says, I will give you my raccoon for your huge lab and your huge flamingo, it's a perfectly fair trade. Now, rare huges are really hard to categorize because a rare huge could be something like a brand new pet. Let's say someone offered you the huge dairy cow from the most recent outset, or the huge, I don't know, like a huge toucan that has a really useful effect because it's huge, or a huge, maybe a huge Dilophosaurus, I don't know. Something that is huge, rare, or huge and has a useful effect. This is in the rack category, maybe even the rack, a little bit of rack plus plus. This is really hard to explain. This is just, you go into the trading Discord, you've got this huge Dilophosaurus, it's got a useful effect. You have a huge toucan, it's got a useful effect, or some other huge pet. Huge capybaras, like 2 or 3 racks, that's a whole different story. So then you go into the huge Discord, people try to cut you, try to like undercut you, and like, oh, I'll give you a butterfly for that. Someone eventually gives you a raccoon for your huge toucan or your huge something useful. Take it. It's in that ballpark. Huge trading is so hard to nail down for values. It's all about going on to multiple Discord servers and fishing around trying to find the best deal that you can. Now, meta huge is, if you're asking me how much your meta huge is worth, you're just toying with me because you know how much it's worth and I know how much it's worth. A meta huge is multiple raccoons. A meta huge capybara. They pretty much start at 3 raccoons. Even the small ones start at 3 raccoons, right? A huge rainbow mimic octopus, you're 15, 20 raccoons plus. If you've got huge divine pets, like my huge mega Spinosaurus, it's like 8+ raccoons. The huge ascended T-Rex has got to be like that too. Like it's crazy at that point. And if you're going to ask me how much you think your huge meta pet is worth, just go to the Discord servers and start fishing. Start fishing for offers. You know what I mean? The fennec fox right now is in the half rack category. I would put the common huges below these other things. Ascended is hard. You know what? Because it's so hard to trade and so hard to get proper value, I'm putting it down here, but I think it's easier to trade your common huges than it is to trade your ascended, your random ascended guys. So while the ascended is worth a half rack, it's just so hard to trade. Your butterfly is super easy to trade. I would say the fennec is harder to get value than the common huges, and I think the butterfly is really easy to get your half rack value for. The mimic octopus is down in the 8th rack category, right around that dragonfly T-Rex range. It's right there. They're useful, they're desirable, they're basically a top 10 pet in the game. Like you can look, you take out the ascended, you take out the huges, and look, there's like the top 1, 2, 3, 6, 7 pets. It's one of the best pets in the game, but it's only worth about 1/8 of a raccoon for trading purposes. And then you have the disco bee, and the disco bee's in the rack category, but it's definitely below the raccoon. It's about what was the number? The 20% swing? Yeah, it's basically a 20 to 30% value swing from the raccoon to the disco bee. So keep that in mind. You may have a disco bee, but you're probably gonna have to add like a 5th rack pet to get. Like you're almost at the Spino plus disco bee equals rack territory. Like we're right there now. It's close. It's really close. Definitely Dragonfly and Disco Bee for the rack, but I don't think the rack owner is going to take that trade. I think you'd need Spino or close to Spino. Maybe like if you did like Dragonfly and a Queen Bee with the Disco Bee to get the rack, that's pretty close. That's tough, man. Trading is tough in this game. Now, French Fry Ferret, Pub Stomper, worthless. Amongst experienced traders, completely worthless. Nobody wants it. Nobody needs it. But amongst the new players who see that rare pet from the last event, like, oh my God, I must have the rare pet from the last event, you can go into a public server and you can get value for it. If you have a French fry ferret, or if you have a lobby, or corrupted kitsune, or the red fox, go into the public servers, go and get your queen bee, go and get your mimic, go and get your chicken zombie, your dragonfly. If you can get a Spino, win, do it. Because those pets are just pub stompers. They don't have any value amongst actual traders if you're trying to get a raccoon, or if you're trying to get a huge mega, or whatever. Kitsune is still 2 racks. 2 racks. Meta huge is worth way more than Kitsune. Kitsune is equal to 2 racks. If you're getting offers of 3 racks, take it. If you're getting 2 racks plus a Spino or any other useful ad, take it. It is firmly worth 2 racks. Don't let anybody fool you otherwise. If they're trying to tell you it's worth more than 2 racks, they're trying to rip you off, right? If someone's got the Kitsune and they're asking for 3 racks, they're trying to rip you off. It's literally almost like value to value worth exactly 2 racks. And the golden goose, even today, 2 days later, is half rack. Is it half rack? No, it's 5th rack. It's right here with the Spino. It's like almost dead even with the Spino. It's crazy. Golden goose is holding its value. I don't know why. Maybe there's less of them. Maybe we're getting less eggs in this event, but it's not plummeting too quickly. I mean, the Spriggan's going down. This guy, he's going down quick. But the golden goose is still holding some value, and I don't know why. Now, this time, what are we now? Monday? By Saturday, it might be down in the 10th rack, right? It might be a pub stomper. I don't know. Might be a pub stomper. But it is definitely, right now, a 5th rack. It has some trade value. And this is my new tier list. Short, sweet, to the point, only using the top pets. Watch this. If I took out the meta huges, I only counted the actual pets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Mimic is top 10. T-Rex is just outside the top 10, right? And if Mr. Golden Goose drops down, T-Rex is back in top 10. And if I say to you the T-Rex is a top 10 pet, makes sense to you entirely. Your brain goes, oh yeah, T-Rex is definitely a top 10 pet. But that's the list right now. It might change as the days goes on. I don't see the Blood Hedgehog staying in the 10th rack category. It might drop down to bulk pets depending on where we are in the meta. If there's not really any prickly fruits around, this will drop out. Bald Eagle is here only because it's great at hatching things. I don't know why this guy's here, but he is. And the hamster I also don't agree with, but that's his value right now, so I'm keeping him there. Hopefully you guys found this list useful and way better than yesterday's list. I won't make another video, one of these, until like Wednesday or Thursday. Then I'll give you guys another update. But until then, this is the tier list. Hopefully it makes more sense to you. Hopefully it's easier for you for trading. If it is easier, or if it's not, can you guys comment down below and let me know what you think about the categories of rack, half rack, 5th rack, etc. Does this help you with trades amongst the tiers or not? Does it make it more confusing or less confusing? Let me know in the comments down below, guys. And as always, thank you very much for watching.